It's the Darius Show, y'all already know. Drop your booty to the floor, come give me some more. It's the Darius Show.
I've argued many times on this channel that we're currently living in an anime renaissance. Not only is there more anime than ever before, but the overall standards of what makes a great anime has increased. As we've seen juggernauts like Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and even Dandadan lead the pack in terms of stellar animation and overall production quality. In the wake of these heights, there are a forgotten few productions that end up overlooked and aren't given their time in the sun. Today I want to highlight a series that you might not have heard of before. One that doesn't have flashy animation, doesn't tell a larger-than-life story, and one that might not seem like much at first, but quietly tells a deliberate and engaging story that caught me by complete surprise. The Fable. The Fable follows Akira Sato, a professional killer feared by all the Japanese underworld politicians, mobsters, and public figures. The assassination organization that he works for decides to send him to Osaka to lay low and live a normal life for a year. The only rule is that he cannot kill or hurt anyone. He is sent with a partner from the organization named Yoko. Together they act as brother and sister who just moved to the small town. The series essentially plays as a fish out of water story from the point of view of Sato, who was raised to be the perfect assassin his whole life, who now has to just blend into normal society, something he's never attempted before. His past as an assassin was so prolific it earned him a reputation as the Fable, a title that would send ripples and chills throughout the underbelly of Japan. This series is a mix of a comedy gag anime and a story that takes a rather serious approach to depicting the Yakuza and other gang-related scenarios. Sato accommodates to his new life and even picks up a part-time job at a small animation studio. Although Sato quickly learns to enjoy a peaceful life, he soon finds himself surrounded by criminal activity that threatens to hurt the people he's grown to love. The main meat of the story is Sato finding ways to help and protect the people around him without drawing too much attention to himself or blowing his cover. The main word I would use to describe this series would be subtle. Its approach to humor, action, tension building, etc. is all done in a subtle way. The comedy that exists within the series is one of the more endearing aspects of it, but it's never done over the top and they are never hitting you over the head with it. The world that the characters live in is grounded, and seeing the normal world react around Sato's strange proclivities leads to a lot of fun. I couldn't find any official sightings of this, but as a viewer, I really feel like Sato is implied to be a character with autism. Obviously, the bizarre nature of how he interacts with the world is narratively chalked up to his upbringing as an assassin from a young age, but we also get to see sequences of him actively code switching depending on the environment as he physically taps his forehead and makes a strange face. We also get to see Sato often not be aware of social dynamics and unable to read social cues. The way that he is always operating under the point of view of being a professional, and that concept informs all of his choices, feel like a small sign of neurodivergence as well. When Sato is told that he should do something in a certain way, he does exactly that. He is literal and to the point in all aspects of life. This unusual approach to life is also what we, the audience, find so endearing about Sato, and what the people around his life find endearing about him as well. Yoko's inclusion in the story feels a bit unnecessary at first. She is mainly used as a sounding board for Sato to adjust to his new lifestyle. Once we start moving into the last few episodes of the second arc, her presence is increased and she shines as a character much more. Her early scenes are reduced to a comedic gag of getting drunk at a bar while targeting men to make a fool out of. I did enjoy these sequences. They were funny and provided a unique staging of hookup culture, being framed like a geographical war strategy. It essentially didn't affect the plot in any way, but it was a fun way to highlight Yoko's personality and a tease of how cunning and serious she can be in certain moments. The series is split into two arcs, with two characters that drive the narrative of the seasons as their respective antagonists. Kojima is our first antagonist to overcome, and a very threatening one at that. Having just been released from prison, he is eager to return to Osaka and his life of crime. He specifically targets Misaki and is quick to extort her into working for him as a prostitute. Sato and Misaki are co-workers and friends, so of course he ends up roped into the conflict as well. I felt that Kojima as a villain was very effective. They pair him up with Takahashi, a lower-level grunt of the Maguro group, who is wide-eyed and in way over his head. The moment that Kojima kills someone in cold blood in front of Takahashi, who is clearly traumatized by the events, was not only chilling, but it immediately upped the danger and the stakes that our characters found themselves within. As the conflict comes to a head, Sato is effortlessly able to dispatch of the enemies and is able to free Misaki, leaving the boss to handle his brother Kojima. This leads to a moment that establishes a certain sentiment that rings true through the rest of the season. Although the boss Takashi was betrayed by Kojima and he caused him a lot of trouble, he still speaks to him with kindness and respect. The tone is that of an older, disappointed brother who still can't help but feel empathetic for his foolish younger sibling. He quietly and quickly kills Kojima, and we are left with an interesting mixed tone of mutual respect, but also the deliverance of punishment. This is where the series gets to have its cake and eat it too, as Sato is still able to keep his hands clean and maintain his mission, while we, the audience, get the satisfaction of Kojima getting exactly what he deserves. Even still, there is a subtle thread of remorse that hangs in the air as the justice is served. Even though Kojima was a predatory monster, we, the audience, are still left feeling sad that another life was taken. Overall, I thought the first arc was actually the stronger one narratively. The second arc would introduce a more antagonizing threat, but first we are treated to a palate cleanser of sorts as we spend a couple of episodes going into the woods for a camping adventure. This arc only serves to develop our characters and does not impact the main plot at all. At this point, while watching the show, I was already sold that the series is offering more than meets the eye, but it was during the small camping arc that I was fully all in on Fable. Kuro, another lowly grunt member of the Maguro group, has discovered Sato's identity as Fable and wants to learn anything he can from him. He calls him senpai and follows him into the woods to prove that he is willing to learn and do anything. For me, Kuro as a character goes from being unbearable and annoying to being actually pretty damn likable over the course of this woodland adventure. Throughout the arc, they really humble his character and make him very endearing, and from this point forward, I find myself really rooting for him, which is too bad because from this point forward, he's really just barely used. They do make a point to include him in the final few episodes, but he doesn't do much that any other character couldn't. I'm hoping in the future of the series they find interesting ways to use him, because he's one of the few characters that actually have a character development arc. In the second arc, we are introduced to Mina and Suzuki, who are both led by Utsubo. So far, Utsubo has managed to pose the largest threat of anyone in the series. He is as sadistic and evil as Kojima, and on top of that, he displays a high level of intellect. He's playing chess while everyone around him is playing checkers. He is driven by power and to get revenge on Sato. In the interest of time, I won't be giving a play-by-play on how the entire plot unfolds, but I do appreciate the nuance that was given to the character Suzuki. He is the muscle of the group and is shown mercy from Sato and Yoko when he tries to attack them. He's even invited to stay for dinner after he has just attempted to kill them both. This predictably creates an inner turmoil that he grapples with throughout the rest of the story. I thought Suzuki's journey was the most compelling part that this group had to offer. Mina's history with Sato was somewhat interesting, but ultimately didn't have legs to stand on its own. This show seems to always be operating with a sense of less is more, and that usually is to the series' benefit, but in the case of Mina and Sato's dynamic, I wish they fleshed it out a little bit better. Ultimately, Sato is easily able to save the day, defeating Utsubo and saving Mina's life. I can't say I cared too much for how they depicted the climax of this conflict, but they did do a good job of tying in all of the characters that we are following and making them all feel relevant. While typically comedic and sometimes action-packed, there are other times that the show can feel like a drama, potentially emulating Sato's favorite show, Jackal Tomioka. One thing I haven't dwelled much on to this point is the animation. If I'm being honest, this is some of the worst animation I've seen for a 24-episode season in a long time. Watching this, I get no sense that a large budget was given towards this project at all. That being said, even though the animation pales compared to the current industry standard, there is a unique artistic direction that it takes that still manages to deliver on some charm and unique personality. The art style that this creator has just feels grounded and subtle, but at the same time, he is able to communicate a lot with specific faces that the character will make in tense moments. Something about the smaller choices within the show's art direction feels like it cuts through the screen and can hit really hard. Maybe it's a Trojan horse effect where the animation is so scaled back and underwhelming that your guard is dropped and certain choices will have a higher impact. Another aspect that contributes to the overall charm of this anime lies within how it's written. In very few words, the story is able to feel so raw and true to life. The casual conversations between Yakuza members and criminals, often about petty logistics, feel very lived in. Obviously, I don't know anything about what it's like to operate within a crime ring, but as a viewer, something about those dynamics felt truly authentic. I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the mangaka had some personal lived experiences within crime. Again, I can't stress enough that as a production, there isn't much to praise. The animation is stilted, the voice acting is weak, and for something that was released in 2024, it feels like it was produced in 2014. Despite those drawbacks, the Fable manages to break through with its unique sense of humor, tone, and approach to storytelling. In a sense, Sato has a newfound family within Osaka, and by the end of this anime's 25-episode run, I found myself attached to this newfound family as well. The Fable was a complete surprise to me, and I'm very happy I chose to check it out. It won't go down as one of the more impressive animes I've ever seen, but it might go down as one of the most unique approaches to telling an anime story that I have watched, at least in the last few years. If you're one of the lucky few who have seen The Fable, I would love to get a conversation going down in the comments. This is one of those shows where I have a hard time finding other people who have actually watched it. So if you are also a fan, I would love to get that dialogue going down below. But yeah, that is going to just about bring this video to a close. Let me know what you think about this video and about Fable overall. As always, my name is Darius Cook, and remember that I love you.
It's the Darius Show, y'all already know. Drop your booty to the floor, come give me some more. It's the Darius Show.